Were this girl's parents too strict on her, or was she just out of control? Now, the girl's name is Jennifer, and Jennifer is about 18 when this story starts, and she's living in Ontario, Canada, and Jennifer has a problem. Her parents are super controlling. They don't let her do anything. They don't let her go on dates with guys. They don't let her sleep over at friends' houses. They just insist that she focus on getting A's in school, teaching piano to kids, and training ice skating for the Olympics. Some might call them tiger parents. But in their defense, Jennifer ends up being pretty good at all of those things that they want her to excel at. However, one day around 2004, the worst thing happens to her. She gets into a class in high school that absolutely kicks her ass. Calculus. And she ends up failing this class. And because of that, her high school won't let her graduate on time, and therefore the college she recently got accepted to withdraws their acceptance. And this is devastating for Jennifer. I mean, college was her chance to start getting out from under her parents' control and maybe gain some independence. So how does she deal with all this? Well, she lies. She tells her parents that she totally graduated with the rest of her class and that she's still scheduled to start college just like they always planned. And her parents believe her. I mean, they have no reason not to. And so eventually, college semester begins. And Jennifer, she keeps the lie going. She pretends to still be enrolled. And when her parents ask her how college tuition is being covered, she lies and says that she got a scholarship. Now, during all this, she still lives with her parents. So she needs to make it seem like she's leaving and going to classes. And so she buys notebooks and textbooks, and every morning she packs up her book bag and she leaves the house like she's going to class. But in reality, she just takes a bus to the public library where she actually does research on subjects that she would normally be learning if she was actually in school. And she makes fake class notes in her notebooks to show her parents and prove that she is in class. And all of this works. Her parents are absolutely fooled. So she doesn't stop. In fact, during all this time sneaking away, she gets a serving job at a restaurant and she starts making a little of her own money. And she also spends time with her boyfriend that her parents don't know about because, she's not allowed to have a boyfriend. Now, her boyfriend is this guy, Daniel. And Daniel, he works at a pizza restaurant. He's also low-key a drug dealer, but we'll get back to him. And so 4 years pass, and Jennifer is still lying to her parents, leaving her house every day saying she's going to college. She's also telling them that she's staying with a friend several nights a week to be closer to some new classes that she's taking, but in reality, she's sleeping over at Daniel's. Now, around this time, her plan starts to run into some complications. Because it's been 4 years. So at this point, her class is scheduled to graduate, which means that she's supposed to graduate, and her parents want to attend the ceremony. But of course, that doesn't happen because she gives them some complicated bullshit excuse about why they can't attend that I don't have time to explain it. But months pass, and it's now 2009, and she's still lying to her parents. She says that she has this prestigious volunteer job now at a hospital for sick children, specifically working in a high-security blood testing lab. And this is where her dad finally starts getting suspicious. Because he notices that despite her saying she has this prestigious volunteer job, she doesn't have a uniform or a badge. So eventually, Dad calls the friend who she's supposed to be staying with, and immediately the friend breaks down and confesses that Jennifer hasn't really been staying there, she's been lying to them. And so Jennifer's dad gets super pissed off, and her parents go and they confront her about the lying, and her dad tries to kick her out, but her mom ends up talking him out of it. But ultimately, they take away her phone and her laptop, and they start monitoring her messages and her emails, and they make her quit her serving job. And the worst part for her is she's no longer allowed to see Daniel. And this is where Jennifer starts to believe that she'll never get out from under her parents' control. And so she comes up with a plan to murder them. And so she goes to her boyfriend Daniel, and she pitches this plan to him. And he's on board because, they figure her parents' estate is worth about $500,000 and that she would get it if they pass. And that once she gets it, they can then use the money to live happily ever after. And so now they just need to hire a hitman to help them pull this whole thing off. And so they hire this shady guy that Daniel knows to be the hitman. People call him Homeboy. And so they hire Homeboy, and they promise to pay him 10,000 Canadian dollars once the job is done and Jennifer gets her inheritance. Now, Homeboy, he isn't gonna do the hit himself. No, he actually subcontracts the job to 3 other goons. So, on the night that it's all supposed to go down, the 3 goons enter Jennifer's parents' house through a door that Jennifer had left unlocked for them. And immediately, they find Jennifer's mom, and they hold her at gunpoint. While another goon, he goes upstairs and he gets Dad out of bed and he brings him back down. They also get Jennifer and they pretend to hold her at gunpoint and they bring her downstairs and they loosely tie her up to a banister. Then they lead Mom and Dad down into the basement and blam, blam, they shoot Dad twice and blam, 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 they shoot Mom 3 times. And of course, they take about $2,000 in cash because they're trying to make this look like a robbery gone wrong, not a planned hit. And so after they leave, Jennifer unties herself because she wasn't really tied up for real, and she calls 911. And so police show up, and they question Jennifer, and she tells them this must have been a robbery gone wrong. But here is the most insane part. Mom, unfortunately, died from the attack. But Dad, he didn't. So they rush him to the hospital, and the doctors there, they put him into a medically induced coma. But when he wakes up, who knows if he'll even remember what happened, much less be able to tell the police anything. So it looks like Jennifer and her crew just successfully got away with murder. Until 3 days later, Dad comes out of the coma, and police question him, and he tells them that during the attack, he saw what he believed to be Jennifer and the goons talking to each other casually, like they were friends. He also tells them that he never saw her get tied up, so we don't even know if she was actually tied up. So now police are suspicious of Jennifer. They think she was involved, and she becomes their main suspect. And so they call her in for questioning again, and her story starts changing. And so they start digging into her cell phone records, and that is when they find that she has a boyfriend, Daniel. And then they also find a bunch of incriminating text messages sent during the night of the murder. And so, bam, they arrest Jennifer. Here's her mugshot. Also, bam, they track down and arrest the 3 goons. Also, bam, they arrest Homeboy. Here's his mugshot. Also, bam, they arrest Daniel. Here's a picture of him. And so ultimately, 2 of the goons get life in prison, while 1 goon gets 18 years because he cooperated with police. Homeboy gets 15 years in prison, Daniel gets life in prison, and of course, Jennifer also gets life in prison.